Hi, fourth grade, here for your reading lesson for Monday. This week you'll have reading lessons that deal with figurative language, so a bunch of different concepts throughout the entire week. Today we're going to start with onomatopoeias, but you'll also be getting things like hyperboles, similes, and multitude of other figurative language concepts. So we're just working with an onomatopoeia concept today. So today I want to remind you, when readers read, sometimes there are onomatopoeias, and the point of putting the onomatopoeia in there is sometimes up to the reader, sometimes up to the author, but it's the reader's job to analyze that and to try to connect to why the author may have, or what the author's purpose was, to putting in the onomatopoeia. So first off, let's talk about what that is. An onomatopoeia, which some of you might remember, I know it's a fun word to say, but it also has a purpose. A word that originates from sound. Sound words is most likely what you've called them during your schooling career. So some examples include the sound neigh, which is associated with the sound that a horse makes, or possibly the sound honk, which is associated with the sound that a car horn makes. So when we think about onomatopoeias, we want to think about what is the author's purpose to putting the onomatopoeia into their reading, into their writing. So there's a few different reasons: to engage the reader, to show expression, to animate a character or object, that personification concept, or to connect with readers' senses, more so than just sight, then they're connecting with sound. So we read this year, our whole school, we read Humphrey. And I'm hoping as soon as I said that, you went, oh yeah, there were sound words in there quite often. So, when we read it, two of the main characters, or animals, I guess we could say, had onomatopoeias that were associated with them. So let me show you an example of how you could write about an onomatopoeia from a story. So in Humphrey, there were two onomatopoeias. Associated with main characters. Squeak and boing. From Humphrey and from Og. I think the author included this to show the characters' personalities. Even though they're animals. So this allowed you as a reader to feel connected to and relate to the animal characters. Since they're not human, the author tried to make you feel with those characters, being that they were animals. So real quick, let me show you one way to write about onomatopoeias is to state the onomatopoeia or the text evidence, because that is your text evidence in this case, and then to state the author's purpose. I think that. So I stated my text evidence that was associated with this book. So I talked about my onomatopoeias being squeak and boing, and then stating the author's purpose. I think the author included this to show. So there was my first sentence starter. You could also say, this allowed the reader to, if you want to expand upon some of your author's purpose. I think that the author included it so you could see their personalities, but he wanted you to see the personality to allow you to feel connected to an animal character, which may not always be the case. So today you are going to have a chance to listen to Mrs. Bulger read a graphic novel, the book that Zach wrote. And in there's a few onomatopoeias, so you'll get a chance to listen to and follow along as I read. And then there'll be a question attached to your Google Doc that you can answer once you've listened to and or read the story. The story is on Epic, so if you would choose to go through and read it by yourself, that's completely fine, or you may follow along and listen as I do so, linked to the Google Doc. So readers, remember, today and every day when reading, pay attention to those onomatopoeias or those sound words and try to think to yourself, I think the author included this because, and relate it to the author's purpose. Have a great reading lesson today. Off you go.